Sahana Bhavato Sahanau Bhunakto Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, may He protect us both. May we both enjoy together. May we both exert together. May our studies become brilliant. May we not become disputatious and hate each other. Om, peace, peace. Right. Welcome back to the Bhagavad Gita classes. So we are doing 2 textbooks at a time, Bhagavad Gita as well as Tattva Bodha. You can choose where you want to focus. You can continue the studies of both textbooks or any one. Start with the Tattva Bodha a little bit, those who have not yet gone through the Bhagavad Gita textbook, because Tattva Bodha deals with definitions. And once the definitions are clear, then it becomes easier to understand the textbook of Bhagavad Gita. In that way, when Bhagavad Gita is understood not as a book written 5,000 years back or more so, nobody has a precise date, or towards that generation, that world was different, that aspect was different. All that at that time it was applicable, sir. It is not applicable now. So when you get the definitions right, and when you really want to evolve spiritually, then you need to focus on how these so-called old traditioned laws are applicable to the now generation, to the world what we see, live and believe. As I told you often before, spiritual evolution is not measuring each other's spiritual dimensions. You know this much, I know this much, and there is a discussion. That's not spirituality. Spirituality is not about what kind of a sadhana a person has, what kind of a person can do with that particular evolution. Perhaps walk on the water or keep maunam for 3 days. Any of these activities is not a mark of what is a spiritual person. I learned this very beautifully. Took this example and it's been in my head, so I'm just giving this first time I'm giving this example. I know of a mother and child where the mother used to just give the child threads which are entangled to each other. And the child used to sit all of around, probably 5 years, 3-4 years or something. That girl used to sit and just untangle it for hours together. So this example I've heard. Now it's very easy, is what nature gives us in our life, we have no control. Things just seem to happen in everybody's life. Right? Whatever you say, this is what I want from my life, it doesn't happen. So since it doesn't happen and what comes in my life, I have no control, we give it a name saying that this is, there is a providence which takes care. There is a kismat that takes care. That is your karma. These are all theories given to perhaps explain why certain things happen in my life which I don't know of. These are the theories given. All these theories are given for a particular reason. And the reason is, when something happens in my life and I don't seem to have any control over that event, eventuality or situation, then the mind gets upset and it gets agitated. And when the mind gets upset and agitated, then it cannot focus on the current situations and come up with current solutions to the problems which they are facing now. So to satiate such a mind, these theories are given. So if the acceptance is there, that whatever comes in my life, I have no control. This quotation is one of the most beautiful quotations. Whatever comes in my life, I have no control. But what to do with what comes in my life, I have complete control. So can I untangle events that is happening in my life with patience, slowly, like that small child? Or do I throw it up saying, oh my God, it is too difficult, I don't want to do? Have an attitude to unravel yourself. Not focus on the world, not focus on what they are doing, he is doing, she is doing. Anybody around you has nothing to do with your life. They don't have, they are just there. Their mere presence is there. So that mere presence may alleviate you towards a better living, or they may pull you down. But ultimately, it's your mind's adherence to that relationship, that personality, that persona that helps you. So the understanding comes back to my own mind. So when that happens, you start unraveling the mysteries. Then, in true sense, one becomes a spiritual person. Then that one person becomes a Bhakta. Because what does a Bhakta do? Certain qualities has come to him or her with a simple idea that I don't have to look around of what the world is doing. When Drona asked everybody to come in the field and take aim at the eye of the parrot, the toy parrot he had kept. And when Duryodhana came, he asked, what do you see? Duryodhana said, I see everything. He asked Bhima with a bow and arrow given, and he was putting that, and Bhima said, I see everything. I see the tree, I see the sun, I see this, I see that meadow, everything. Except one guy. Arjuna, what do you see? Nothing but the eye of the parrot. What do you see in the world? Nothing, sir. My own evolution and how to get out of the mess, which is probably self-created. Self-created, probably my own karma. Why? So that I don't have anybody else to blame. When I say providence, destiny, all these things still is, why is God doing that to me? Still it's a third person. Therefore, the intelligent sages and saints made it karma, your own karma. So now what you can do? My own karma, I am getting in trouble. So how do you get out of it? Create further karmas. Create further karmas that are good. Automatically the old one will go away. So the onus of change is in our hands. There's this beautiful example by Acharya Vinoba Bhave. He says a small fish wishes to escape in the deep waters from its enemy, the bigger fish, which is following it. And it swims through the water so fast, is aiming to run away from the fishes. And someday, sometime, that small fish develops wings and it becomes a bird. So beautiful example. It becomes a bird. And he said the change is not in the water. The change is not in the other aspects, other species of fishes which are following it. No, the change is in itself. Growth is change in oneself. And when you focus on that, you become a Bhakta. Bhakta's attitude, why Bhakta? Because Bhakta's attitude is seeing only that Lord. Hanuman had nothing else in his life except Lord Rama and Sita. Nothing. That kind of a devotion to a higher goal where nothing else is important. What to eat, what not to eat, where to sleep, where not to sleep, what is he said, what is she said. None of these things at the end of time comes to help. The only thing that comes to help is how pure you are. Sir, we have to earn money to survive. Even that will happen. How much money do we need to sustain ourselves? Ram Tirtha used to say, a roof over my head, a little money in my purse, and bread before me, my life is good enough. Start with that attitude, and let other people run in their own competitions. Let them gear themselves up, let them make more money. And it's stressful life, let them. They have chosen that life. But you are intelligent enough not to choose that kind of life. Such a person has these qualities of a bhakta. And last time when we made this, we said he's got this quality of unconcerned. He's not concerned. Not that non-concerned doesn't mean he's not bothered about it. But internally he's switched off. That personality has switched off. So everything, yes. In places sometimes there are these people, farmers, who bring cows in their hand. So the cow is walking with the rope and they are pulling the cow. And the cow has one extension, one maybe small arm by the side of the shoulder or something like that. And the cow has a kumkum and all these decorations. And this man has a sort of a tabla, where you play music, and he's got a stick in his hand. So when anybody comes across the cow, he just plays the music, and the music comes out as buku, 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 buku. I don't know whether you've seen this. Buku, buku, buku. And as soon as he plays the music, the cow does this. That fellow knows that if I play, I train the cow to do this. The cow also knows if I do this, I don't get hurt. So it does this. The other person is also happy that the cow gives some money for the sustenance of the cow and that person. Whatever anybody says in the world around you, which has nothing to do with real life. That's all. But internally, you are entirely a separate entity. You don't need to tell that to people. You don't show it to people you're spiritual. You need to just be there. Be with everybody around. Unconcerned. That's what we did last time. So, anapeksha, shuchir dakshaha, udasina, gatavyataha. Untroubled. This person is completely untroubled. The bhakta is untroubled. Why untroubled? God is there to take care of me. God is there, no? Is God there? We don't know who God is. I asked one child, do you believe in God? His children's class, he comes. Do you believe in God? And said, I am an agnostic. That previously, children, the small children and anybody used to say, I believe in God or I don't believe in God. I am an agnostic. I am a Gnostic. I believe in God. I don't believe in God. I have not found a single person till now who believes in God. Not a single person. The person who says, I don't believe in God, they are right. Person who says, I am believing in God, they have no idea what they are talking about. Because when you have faith in something higher than yourself in life, then have a faith, a shraddha towards the divinity that you will be taken care of. Again, the great master, Swami Ramatita, I keep on saying Swami Ramatita. In fact, it's about time we gave him some respect. We're declaring 22nd October, which is his birthday, as World Vedanta Day. It's because what he did to the society was just amazing. So that person, so always says something. They seek the higher and lower is taken care of. Just one line. Once you focus on something higher in life, something noble in life, you don't need to think about sustenance. Don't need to. You will be sustained. Well and truly you will be sustained. Just try to live for a dream. There is beautiful speech. I dream a dream. Have a dream. The dream should not be like Jonathan Livingston Seagull, the book, where all the seagulls are quarreling and fighting over what the fishermen throw the tidbits of the fishes which they don't require. And all the seagulls are fighting there and pecking each other just for the piece of fish. So Jonathan, a seagull, a young seagull, sits on the side of the crossbar and is looking at this whole generation pecking and saying, is my life meant for that? Squabbling over tidbits about what to eat, what not to eat, and what will make me good now? Or is my life having a higher purpose in life? And there makes a Jonathan Livingston Seagull. Seek the higher, lower is taken care of. You will be untroubled in life. Untroubled means no affectation at all. Why not affected by anything? Their assessment of people around is excellent. That is why throughout the talks, throughout the studies, throughout the lectures, whatever we try to do, we always keep on focusing on develop your intellect. Even a teacher keeps on saying, please develop your intellect. Because when you develop your intellect, when you start focusing on how to do things in a proper way, whether this is right or that, when you're developing your intellect, discriminative viveka gains, then you know where your life is. You start assessing people around. What does a tree do? What does an animal do? You go to a zoo, nowadays a safari, and there's a lion standing on front. And you go to the lion, and there is a deer. You go to near that spotted deer, and the spotted deer comes near you. You can give it some blade of grass, and you can click a photograph also. You have a photo. See, we were there in South Africa. We were there in Kenya. This is a very rare deer. You give me all the details. With a hand around the deer's neck, we are laughing. So sweet. The same thing, then they should, lion. The lioness is there. See, 2 lions and 3 lionesses are sitting there. And you think, सारे जानवरों में तो भगवान होते ही हैं. And you go near. The lion will be licking its lips. Dinner. You understand? When you are appreciating the lion, from afar, its roar, its majestic attitude and the mane and the way it carries itself, you also know that there is a level of distance, an intelligent distance you need to maintain from that animal. This assessment that the lion is majestic, he roars, keep him or her away. And a deer is meek and mild, you can go and touch, nothing wrong with it. The same kind of a discrimination, the same kind of an assessment should be there while we are living around us. We don't have. What we have is we assess people that this is what the person is, and then we become judgmental about that person and we start hating that person or loving that person for that particular quality. Now the problem is, what happens if that quality disappears? I love the sense of humor in my husband. He's so good, he can crack jokes. Suddenly the sense of humor goes away because he's got married to you. What do you do then? Suddenly the person who's extremely fit becomes unfit. What do you do then? Qualities can change. You have to have a dream of your own. So the assessment part comes when you look at human beings and assess each one perfectly according to their behavior. Now, the beauty in all this is, since most of the people are not studied Vedanta, they don't know what is the mind and intellect. So around you, whoever you are contacting in this world, in any relationship, whether it's an office environment or a home environment, people will be following their own beaten path, a pattern. This is the way the person will behave when the person is angry. This is the way the person will shout when the person is angry. How do you know? He's been doing that for 30 years. There's no change. She's been doing it for 40 years. There is no change. So they belong to a beaten path because the intellect is not available to understand something higher. Then what you do? You modulate according to those personalities. Let them not affect you and continue doing what you do. Like a Mahatma used to say, when children come and talk to you, you tell them what is right and wrong. And the child will sit and cry something, and then the child will do what it wants to do. Then when the children become youngsters, you make them sit and tell them, this is the time to come from the party. This is what you are supposed to eat. This is the way you have to respect your elders. You say everything with a complete understanding that they are not listening to a single word what you are saying, because they are going to do what they want. You tell this to a married person, your own child, that this is the way to bring about this child, because I have brought you up and you are good, and you are doing something wrong. The daughter-in-law is doing something wrong, or the mother-in-law is doing something wrong. Somebody with a complete understanding that they don't understand because they know how to bring it up. You tell the same thing to the old person. Don't take stress, auntie, uncle, sab theek hai, relax. Why are you getting stressed? We can't control anything anyway. Ha, beta, wo sab to theek hai, karna chahiye. And you also know that they will never listen to you. They will do what you. So basically, throughout life, nobody listens to you. Practical. See, I'm talking to you. You think I'm going with an idea that, wow, there are so many people listening to this Vedanta lecture, and you know how many people's life can change? Nothing. Because after the lecture, we'll go back to where we belong. A little bit perhaps a change, but then that depends on your attitude of how you are controlling your own mind with your own buddhi, intellect. So a bhakta has proper assessment of each and every person, each and every situation, and doesn't go around poking his or her nose in other people's affairs. Whatever is their problem, let them deal with it. If they are asking for something, suggest, and always remember this. This is a guru mantra. Okay. Whenever anybody has a problem, when they come to you for advice, listen to this carefully, because nobody says this. Whenever anybody has a problem and they come to you for advice, since they know that you are attending classes, don't give them. Don't give any advices. Because 95% of the time, they don't want solutions. They have developed this beautiful tendency to sit and cry over their said problems. And all they need is a shoulder round to put their head there and somebody to say, don't worry, Bhagwan sab theek kar lega. And they are happy with that. 95% of the people. They don't have the intellect to come back and say, Bhagwan kaise theek karega? 20 saal se to kuch kiya nahi. For 20 years, Bhagwan has not done anything. Now what is he going to do? They don't have that kind of an intellect. They were happy saying, acha, theek, and then go on. 95% don't say, keep quiet. Hota hai, say something. When they persist with that question, but tell me how to go, what to do. Is there steps? When you are talking about Vedanta, is there a step of how to go about it? How to be dynamic in life and how to be peaceful in life? What is the first step? Second step, how do I go about it? There you are, the other person is using the internet. Then give advice. So majority of the time, 95% of the time, what you're doing, you are saving your precious time. Assess people, whom to talk, whom not to talk. When I was a child, I used to read this comic called Charlie Brown. And Charlie Brown is a comic creator, person with the boy with no hair on his head. And he's got these two characters around. One is Lucy, a girl who's very, very stubborn. And Lucy's brother, his name is Linus. I still remember his name. He always had a blanket in his hand to show that, this is my security blanket. With everybody, all of us have our own blankets which we carry around. And there's one scene where this younger brother is going to a wall, just a wall, a brick wall. And he goes to the wall and talks to the wall. I don't like what you are doing. You're always insulting me before my friends, and you better take care that next time it will not be tolerated. To the wall. And he comes out. Then next scene is they shown in that cartoon. He goes to this elder sister, Lucy, and he says the same dialogue. I don't think what you're doing is right, and blah, blah, blah. And then he comes out. He comes to Charlie Brown and he says, you are right. Talking to Lucy is like talking to a wall. Just 3 portions. And that was a beautiful lesson of how many of us are talking to walls and expecting the walls to understand us and change for their own betterment. Why waste so much energy? Perfect assessment. किससे कितना बात करना है? When any fool can get angry, says George Bernard Shaw. But to get angry at the right person, for the right time, for the right duration, for the right purpose, that takes a wise man. Everybody gets angry. How to go? So this attitude of not gatavyataha, gatavyata means everywhere actually, untroubled, not bothered about anything. Perfect assessment, and in his perfect assessment, he's understood Vedanta beautifully. What is it? 2 qualities: sense of values and sense of proportion. When I am being educated on what is the higher aspects of life and lower aspects of life, like ahimsa, sarvabhuta, we are doing all that, 35 qualities, these are all the higher aspects of life. I understand that perfectly. Sense of values is, this is the way to live. We should only speak honest. Honesty is the best policy. Sorry, did I say that? No, actually it's wrong. Honesty is not the best policy. It is the only policy. There is no other policy other than honesty. Saint Rabia was asked once, do you believe in God? Do you love God? And she said, yes, I love God very much. Then she was asked, do you believe in devils, ghosts? She paused a little and said, actually, I love God so much that I don't think anything other than Him or her. Okay. Sense of values is, I know this is the way to go about it and more. Sense of values, everybody has got. I have not seen a single human being till now who doesn't have sense of value. But what gets problematic in their life is the sense of proportion. What to say, to whom to say it, how much to say it, whether the person can take it or not. A soldier had to go to his village to give a report in his holiday to an old lady, to a house, that their son is martyred. He was dead. So he had this job. So he went to the house. He knocked at the door because he had to give this information that your son is no more. He was in my commandment regiment and we had a fight and he's not there. So I'm sorry. As soon as the door opened, an old frail lady came, completely old, maybe around 80s or something. And she said, "Kaun hai?" She said, "I'm SSA, and with fighting with your boy, you are always there together." You say, "Ha, acha, kaise? Tell him I remind now, with dam bhi nikalta hai. I feel very bad. I don't know how long I'm going to live. My hand and legs are paining. I can't see properly. I can't hear also properly here. I said, well, what is the news? Is he happy? Is he eating? Is he eating? For everybody wants to eat. The mother especially wants to know whether the son is eating or not. Whether he's living is different. Eating, is he eating? Is he eating? To such a person, what is he going to say? Is he going to say, sorry, ma'am, but you lost your son? Looking at that lady, probably around 6 months, a year more. So he changes, he says that he's fine, he's doing very well, and very soon he's going to come. And in that hope, the lady lives a little bit more. You should always have sense of values. Proportion it properly. Be careful when I say this, because when we use the term proportion, we usually use it for our advantage. Okay? It is not to massage one's ego. It is to help the other person so that they don't go through X amount of pain. Like one man is telling me, sir, you are explaining Bhagavad Gita, na? I have understood the life of Krishna. His wife was also there, and they've been married for 30-35 years. He says, I have understood Bhagavad Gita, it is beautiful, and therefore I am living like Krishna. Wherever I see gopis, I go and hug them. Any party I go and hug them. Because you only said, live your life like Krishna, so I enjoy living like Krishna. And the lady of the house, she looked at me and said, sir, kuch samjhao. Is he right? I said, see, Krishna lived this life, a different matter, but he didn't live for this. He had a higher purpose. He also killed Kamsa. He did a lot of wrong. He killed a lot of asuras. Before understanding the life of Krishna, there was another avatar before him, which was Rama. And Rama did not marry 10 times. He did not have 10 ladies around his house. It was only Sita. Be like Rama for 99% of your time. And then that nature, the supreme providence will tell you when can you understand Krishna. So we can't move around scriptures, misquote the scriptures to suit my ego and my desires. No, it's not that. So sense of proportion needs to be applied only not because it saves me and skin. Sense of proportion is applied because it doesn't hurt the other. The other person doesn't go through that kind of hurt now. Maybe after a week, I can give the same news when the other person is a little mentally suitable to accept that. So these two qualities, this person doesn't have. One is assessment is perfect, values are perfect, and exactly this person can understand what I'm saying. This person cannot understand what I'm saying. So keep quiet. Just keep quiet. When the other person is putting you down, move away, get away. Why are you sitting there? Get away from there. Or if it is a sadhana you think, then sit there and tell yourself, this is all junk. Nothing affects me. Either way, it's all right. Don't get affected by anything. But if you get affected, don't sit quietly. Many people have asked me, sir, should I forgive the other person? Because ultimately it is my evolution. Please don't sit quietly when something is going wrong. पाप करने वाले से पाप सहने वाला बड़ा गुनहगार. Rather than a person who is doing wrong, a person who is assuming that wrong is being done and I sit quietly are the people who is going to be in trouble. There's a beautiful quotation I read somewhere. All good people need to do in life for the world to disintegrate is nothing, and the world will disintegrate. Just sit quietly and let things happen as they are happening. It will go. So good people need to talk. They need to spread it. When bad people can spread it, bad SMSs and bad WhatsApp and all through all these medium, wrong things are spread. about rituals, about one's caste, about one's creed, about one's sex. Everything is wrong and it is spread 100. Why can't good things spread? Because they are not motivated enough. First thing about unselfishness is I want the other person to be happy. And for the other person to be happy, they need to learn how to be happy. There is a technique, there is a way, there is a method of how to go about it. This person knows exactly where to talk, where not to talk, where to take the insult and instigate it towards activity, and where not to do that. Untroubled. So proper assessment, sense of values and sense of proportion, both together. Sarvarambha Parityagi, renouncer of all undertaking. He has given up all activities. A man came to me long time back. It was my relative, and he said, and by the time we had already taken the subject and we were dedicated our life to it. So he came to me and said that, sir, just like you, I have given up everything. I have given up. So, very, very good. You have given up. So what do you give? All activities, sir. Ye paise ka moh maya, the money, I have given up. I have stopped running behind money. So how do you take care of yourself? There is a providence that takes care of you. I don't run behind them. He was a beautiful engineer. He used to repair this, televisions. He stopped every activity. I came to know he survived. His wife is there and he's got a young daughter, probably around 18, 20, just coming into studies. I said, so I'm sorry, I want to ask you, how do you sustain? Like your daughter is there, wife is there. He says, sir, मैं तो कुछ नहीं करता हूँ. मैंने तो भी सब राम राम. I'm just continuously japa the whole day. I'm sitting into meditation, sir. Every day, 5 hours of meditation. I do. Sit and close my eyes, watch the thought go by. I'm very peaceful. Whatever happens around me, I don't get affected. It's beautiful. I said, lovely, lovely. Sir, do you meditate? No, I don't. That's a different matter. So you do it, no? You say meditation. Yes, yes, yes. What do you eat? So see, sir, my daughter, basically, she's a commerce graduate and she's planning to do chartered accountancy, So morning, she takes a tiffin. She makes the tiffin because her mother is old and frail. So she makes the whole thing. And she takes a dabba with her, a box of food, and goes to a particular college. And that college is very spectacular, actually, because they give chance to outside students to come and study. But they have a particular time, morning and evening. So morning, she reaches that college at 9. 9 is a true story. 9 to 1 o'clock, she is studying. 8 to 1 o'clock, she is studying her subjects, chartered accountancy. And then she is going somewhere across the city to work as an intern in an office, as a part-time job from 2 to 5. Or 2 to 6. Then she comes back again, and 7 she goes back to the library. She buys some snacks or something on the way to eat, just munch around, and sits there and studies till 10 o'clock. And 10 o'clock, by 10:30 she comes home, cooks the dinner for everybody. We have a late dinner, so all of us have dinner. And that's how whatever she gets from that part-time job, we are sustaining. Baki Bhagwan sab dekh lete. You say Bhagwan sab dekh lete, and you are allowing a small kid to struggle like this. How is this surrender? How is this sustenance? How is this providence which is helping you? Vedanta never tells you to give up anything. So, but a line like this, Sarvarambha Parityagi, giving up all undertaking. People say, I have given up. You don't need to give up anything. You can't give up anything. You can't give up anything. Why? First of all, first question, what is yours to give up? What is yours to give up? Is this city yours? You can give it up. No, you are not built in. You are not in control. You are not there. Is the traffic what you want to give? What do you want to give up? You can't give up anything because you are not, they are not your possessions. Correct? They are not your possession. I have given up. मेरी आत्मा ने मेरी बॉडी को, तुम्हारी बॉडी तुम्हारी कभी थी? When was your body yours? Does it follow all your dictates? The way you want your body to be, the way digestion system needs to be, the way the sight needs to be, the way the tongue needs to be, the way your hands and legs need to function, is it completely under your command? No, nothing. Not a single thing in the world is in my command. It's just an illusion of control that I control. Nothing is in my control. My husband is not in my control. My wife is not controlled. Forget about husband, wife, children, mother, father. I am not in myself in control. Sir, I want to control my mind, but my mind keeps on going everywhere, sir. It's very easy. You are staying here where you are. You are doing everything in the world what needs to be done. You can't give up anything. Some activity you have to do, so you do some activity. But one thing you have, which is very, very specific to each one of us. Very specific. And that specific thing is that one strain of thought which says, this is mine. The possessive attitude towards my possessions, that is completely personal and that belongs to me. That is mine. Because it is coming from my own head. I have control only on that. So, don't have an air about what all I am doing and what all I am not doing, because whether I do something or not is basically immaterial. We are all like disposable syringes. It just doesn't matter. In this insignificant so-called life, a small life, because of my ego or my understanding of life, we are trying to make it some meaning. That attitude is important. George Bernard says, George Bernard Shaw says, when I die, it's a beautiful quotation, when I die, the year on the tombstone will be inscribed 19XX someday, hyphen 20XX. And he says, my whole life, all my fights, all my anger, all my troubles, all my struggles, all my successes, all my failures, everything is marked by that hyphen between the two dates. And the purpose of my whole life is to make that small line of a hyphen as significant as possible. That's all. So such a person who understands this life, why should he have anything about, this is what I am doing? I don't want to begin like this. I don't want to end. Who are you to begin anything? Who are you to end anything? There are people who are having ashram. There are people who are having missions in life. And somebody went, Maharaj of Tehri in India, Himachal Pradesh, he came to Ram Tirtha and said, we will build a mission for you. You don't have to do anything. We'll just build the whole structure around you and spiritual evolution can take place. And the master that he was, he said, all mission is my mission. You have money, there are people who need it. There are orphanages, there are old ages, there are things needed to be done in the society to bring and to uplift the society. They are all my mission only. I can give it to anybody, it's all right. I don't need something of mine to be there. Who are you to start anything? Who are you to end anything? Whatever you're doing, do it. That's why a person is always happy. So how do you go spiritually evolve yourself? Navaratri, which is coming. Focus on Navaratri. Sir, I focus, I dance every time. Yeah, you dance, it's okay. It should show because it's the biggest cardio activity now. Just dance, doesn't matter. 9 days of dance. What it means? 3 days, I'm praying to Mata Durga. The destruction of Mahisasura, the negative qualities in me. All the negative qualities, the first 3 days, I'm focusing on destroying my negative qualities. In short, in this 3 days, from today onwards to the next 3 days, I am not going to talk negative about anybody. In fact, sir, I'm not going to think negative about anybody. I'll subside it, I'll try to control it. These 3 days. Next 3 days, what do? Inculcate further good qualities. Bring it up. Maintain the qualities, subtleize the qualities which are there within me already, not getting further, which is in me already, and subtleize it better. Make it more purer form. You should have emotions. Yes. Have emotions. Why should you create an emotional drama? Loudly shouting, loudly, and you don't need to do all that. Have emotions, make it a pillar of strength. So that and you change the thing what you have within yourself. Hands are there, legs are there, your body is there. Make it as perfect as you can. The next 3 days of your life, Teen Prahar, they say. So the first part, childhood, focus on this. Youth, focus on this. Second thing should be Lakshmi Puja. Create the wealth inside. Your wealth is already there inside. Not the money, the real values. And the last, Saraswati Puja. Saraswati Puja is the knowledge of the self. Something hard, knowledge of the self. I want to realize myself. I want to get into pure consciousness because this is conditioned consciousness. I want to go through various levels of evolution. There are 10 levels of dimensions. I will reach the 10th. All this is theories. Don't get into this. This is only to make people more and more confused, and those people who talk to show the other people that how knowledgeable they are. Don't get into this consciousness, this what simple things live life. I want to be better than what I was yesterday. Yesterday, I was more attached. Previously, I was more angry. I had more desire. I want to change myself. That is Saraswati. Move towards a higher. Have a goal in life. Have an unselfish goal where me and mine is not there. What can I do for you? Like the French people say, après vous, after you. What can I do for you for your betterment? My betterment will be taken care of. Where it will go? Huh? There are laws taking care of it. It will come. Don't worry. Saraswati is that knowledge. And when that happens, your whole life becomes better. And the last day is Dasera, where the evil ego, which claims I have done this, I have done that, completely disappears and disintegrates. And then you enter into a higher state of being. And that higher state of being, all awareness, all condition, pure condition, higher state of being is only this. I have understood this world to be like a dream, completely temporary nature. Therefore, I am not going to take it seriously. And since I'm not going to take it seriously, I'm going to roam free as a bird which understands that I don't rely on the tree sitting on the twig. I am relying on my wings. If the twig falls, I will fly, but nothing will come to me. That kind of confidence, that kind of knowledge, that kind of understanding is what we are talking is pure consciousness. You have to live in the same world. You have to meet the same people. Everything. Only thing is that nothing affects you and you will look as if you're completely involved in it. You do everything possible for everyone, for their own betterment, for their evolution. And the more you think about what can you do for somebody else, something will be done for you. There's this beautiful song. I'll end with this. There's a song, Duniya mein kitna gam hai, mera gam kitna kam hai. औरों का गम देखा तो मैं अपना गम भूल गया. As soon as more the focus is what is happening in my life, I'm always sad. As soon as the focus is what can I do for you poor people, can I be of some help, if I can, automatically my problems will be alleviated. Spiritual evolution, not self-realization, not the fifth state of consciousness, sixth state of consciousness to understand what is waking, dream. All these are concepts. Spiritual evolution, get married to a higher cause, have a dream and live for it. And the difference will be there for you to see. We continue. Okay. Oh.